So Marjorie Taylor Greene, we need a national divorce. We need to separate by red states and blue states and shrink the federal government. Everyone I talk to says this. So everyone she talks to is saying we need to like split the country in twain. From the sick and disgusting woke culture issues shoved down our throats to the Democrats' traitorous America last policies, we are done. Dude, like, you're literally calling for like secession. You're literally committing like textbook treason, right? Like, and you're saying the Democrats are traitorous? Like, you're calling for treason, right? Like, and I'm not trying to be all like pearl clutching, like, oh my God, America is so perfect. We're a perfect union. We can never split up. No, I don't really care about that sort of thing. But like, literally speaking, by like the most like broad definition of the term, like she is asking for treason by like American standards, right? David Hogg, who is one of the survivors of the Parkland shooting from 5 years and 6 days ago, he says, quite frankly, these remarks are unacceptable, un-American, and unbecoming of an elected official to the House of Representatives. Yeah, probably. If you're elected to the House, you should not be this dumb. I mean, saying a comment like this, yeah, I mean, you probably shouldn't say this too, but you should not be like as utterly, completely brain dead as Marjorie Taylor Greene is and hold public office. I mean, if there's any evidence that meritocracy is a complete lie, Marjorie Taylor Greene is all the evidence you could possibly need. Jon Stewart, but we get to keep the name, right? Republicans and Democrats have long been known to disagree, and U.S. House Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene feels it's time the two parties parted ways. On Monday, Greene blamed Democrats for the nation's political struggles by announcing that she felt it was time for a secession. Over the weekend, Greene voiced on Twitter that Biden should be impeached for his continued support of Ukraine amid the country's war with Russia. It is crazy how, like, many Republicans are going out bat for Russia when it comes to this. I've said this for years. A good divorce beats a bad marriage any day of the week. Any major issue or election in this country is almost a 50-50 split. It's time for us to go separate ways. Dude, are you and Marjorie, like, between the two of you, you might have enough, like, brain cells to make up, like, one human. But alone, you are probably the dumbest two people alive. There are no blue states. There are no red states. That doesn't exist. The divide is city versus rural. The reddest red state, quote unquote, is like still like 40% blue or like 35% blue. And say with the bluest blue state, it's still going to be like 35% red. Let's take a look here. California. 11.1 million to Biden, 6 million to Trump. Over a third of them voted for Trump. So like even the bluest of blue states, a third of voters still voted for Trump. You can't just do a clean divide, okay? Florida, 5.6 million Trump, 5.3 million Biden. You can't just secede with these states, dude. Every state is too purple for that, okay? Even California, even Florida. Oklahoma, 1 million Trump, 500,000 Biden. This is like the reddest state. 52% Trump. 46.5% Biden in Texas. All of these states, dude, every single state is like a margin of like very little. Okay, maybe Wyoming. 70% Trump. Okay, maybe Wyoming. Wyoming can secede and be its own little libertarian paradise. Fine, I'll grant you that, Marjorie. But this idea that it's like red state versus blue state is just not true, man. Look at these numbers. It's just not true. It's rural versus city, for sure. But you can't secede that. You can't secede cities from the states that they're in. It's just an unthinkably dumb proposition. Only an unthinkably dumb person would even think to make. Who would bail out the red states, Marjorie? Yeah, it's not a secret that like blue states subsidize red states via our tax dollars. My tax dollars from someone living in a blue state, working in a blue state, are subsidizing the people living in red states. Here's the perfect graphic to illustrate this point. A reminder to Republicans who want a national divorce. 2018's GDP by county in the 2020 presidential election. The more than 500 counties won by Joe Biden generated 71% of America's GDP in 2018, and the more than 2,500 counties won by Donald Trump generated just 29% of America's GDP. Blue states are subsidizing these red states, and they want to secede? The red states would be accepting refugees from the blue states within a decade, but if I had it my way, I would build a massive wall to keep you all out. Dude. What the fuck? Is he just like the dumbest person ever? Oh yeah, he pays Elon Musk for Twitter Blue. Okay. Yeah, he is. He is among the dumbest people ever. But unless you have like a reason for it, like, I don't know, you need it for like your job to post longer videos, fine, I don't know. But if you're this guy and you just like want a dick ride for Elon Musk, nobody wants to live under religious theocracy. That's not true. Plenty of people seem to want to live under religious theocracy. Y'all can't even survive without sponging money off of blue states. Get real, yeah. If we separate between red and blue states, then we will actually have to build a wall to keep Republicans from sneaking back in. Yeah. I mean, this is a story, a tale as old as time. When it comes to like, you're seeing it now with like abortion bans. People are still people with the means, conservatives, are still going to cross state lines and get abortions. There's still like people from Idaho are driving over to Washington State to go to our weed stores because we have better laws here that allow for legal weed. You can find a million examples of this happening, okay? Currently, without the need for secession, where it's clear that like more progressive policies tend to be more popular. And that's not even a controversial statement. You look at like, let's look at anything. Pew Research 2020, 63% of US adults say the government has a responsibility to provide universal health care. Same deal, 63% among all US adults want to make college tuition free. Here's an economic survey from 2019. Majority of Americans support progressive policies such as higher minimum wage, free college. It's just the truth. When you ask people in a vacuum, like, do you think this policy sounds good? They will tend to support the more progressive policy. It is why there is such a gigantic industry funded by the rich, wealthy, capital-owning class to convince you that these progressive policies are bad somehow. Paid maternity leave, 84% of Americans support this. Government funding for childcare, 75% of Americans. Boosting the minimum wage, 60%. Tuition-free college, according to this poll, 57%. Medicare for all, 54%. UBI, we'll get there. But these are common progressive talking points, progressive policies that the majority of Americans seem to support. And yet we can't seem to get these things passed. And why is that? Well, it's because our politicians, unfortunately, aren't there to serve you and me. If they were there to serve you and me, if we lived in a democracy, a healthier, more functioning democracy, we would be getting these things because these are the things Americans want. But our politicians, because of the way our systems are structured, are beholden to money. We allow legal bribery, and all of these things would help the overwhelming majority of Americans. The people these things wouldn't help are the people who are already rich, and that's why they fight tooth and nail to make sure we don't get these things, because they will be slightly less rich. We could have all of these things, and the rich would stay rich. They would still have more than they need to live comfortable, fulfilling lives and not need to worry about anything when it comes to finances. The top 0.1% of Americans control $17 trillion worth of capital. The bottom 50% of Americans control $4.5 trillion in capital, regardless of your political leanings, okay? You cannot tell me this is evidence of a functional socioeconomic system. And I promise you, on my life, this is not because we have too much socialism. This is not because we have too much welfare. This is because we have an economic system where we give all of the money to the rich and hope that it trickles down somehow. This is a lie we've been told. This is a lie you have been told. It will not happen. It is a grift. It's the biggest lie ever told. They're not buying things. They're storing it. They're letting it sit like the fucking disgusting dragons on their hoard of gold that they are. Give more of this money to these people and they will spend it. They will revitalize our economy in unthinkable ways. What are the solutions? There is a tiny minority of elected Democrats who are genuine progressives, who are advocating for real, doable solutions to this problem. And we need to support them. We need to support more of them. Establishment Democrats aren't going to solve this problem. They're not even going to try. Republicans are definitely not going to try.